Hi, hello everyone. Very good evening to everyone. Welcome to this Friday session. Friday session helps you to get a perspective from all of us with respect to where we feel the market is headed. I welcome all the StockEdge Club members, TMP participants, and also StockEdge Premium members. Thank you so much for joining for these sessions. I can see a few names who are regular attendees of these sessions, so I'm thankful to all of you who have I thank you on behalf of you because if you attend these sessions you get closer and closest to understanding what's happening in the market. Although we always say that we are also learners of market, so we try our best to learn as much from the market as possible, so you actually try to reach to our zone of being the best learner of market. So before I start my presentation, as usual, let me clarify that there is not going to be any question and answer. This is largely a idea sharing, a view sharing. I'm going to be there for another 15 minutes. Then Souradeep will be there, and then my dear friends, my dear friend Abhijit Paul will be there, and we all will try to give you a learning, a perspective about the market. So before I start, let me get a confirmation from all of you if you guys can hear me. A quick round of confirmation. Yeah. I think some of you preempted my question, so that's why your answer was ready. Thank you. I hope you guys are doing good. I hope everyone is good in your family. I hope, sincerely, I hope that it remains good for you, for your future, because market has been extremely kind to me, and I want Almighty Market to be kind with all of you. This market is known for being ruthless with many people, but generally market is kind to people who are learners. And that's why I say all of you should be learner first and then try to make money from the market. चले चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं. So I want to take a confirmation from you that you can see my screen. मैं अपना वीडियो बंद कर दे रहा हूँ just to save some internet connection, but are you able to see my trading view screen? Okay, thank you, Shri, Sudesh, Ketan Parekh, Jai, Gagan. Thank you everyone. Dinesh Bhai, thank you. Yeah, चलो चालू करते हैं. So where are we in market? So people who have been following me in my weekend strategy also, you see what I mentioned in last weekend strategy. And by the way, when I say these things that I mentioned, that doesn't mean that I'm bolstering that देखो मैं सही पड़ गया, मैं गलत पड़ गया. As I say that मेरा कोई अस्तित्व नहीं है इस मार्केट में. I am no one in front of this mighty market. All what we are doing is trying to do a best case guesswork in what will happen in the market. So this is market for us. This is a weekly chart. This is dollar index. So dollar above 108 is always a concern. So dollar right now is 108.15. And the base which dollar has made recently is 105. So for me 105 के ऊपर में अगर dollar है तो I'm very about the market. But having said that, one has to understand कि Indian market has outperformed global markets, and there is a reason for outperformance. अगर आप emerging market index देखोगे, this is MSCI emerging market index. So it has been falling down consistently since dollar has been going up. It has been falling down. Okay, but if you look at Nifty divided by emerging market index, look at this. Nifty has been grossly outperformer vis-a-vis the emerging market index. We have seen some correction in Nifty at the top right now. This week, particularly, Nifty has underperformed the emerging market index, but largely Nifty has been an outperformer. My sense is that this outperformance will stay here for a long period of time. India has emerged as one of the top alternative destination for both FIIs, FDIs and FIIs. FIIs have taken some money out, but finally we see that a lot of investments will come to India after a lot of investments are moving out of China. So that will impact our market as well. So I am not in a mood to short the market. मैं definitely market बेचूंगा नहीं, because especially when market is trading above this 200-day moving average, which is 16,700. This is exponential moving average. I will not sell. Okay, my strategy will only and only be to buy strong stocks and ride the momentum. और वही मैं कर रहा हूँ पिछले 3 महीने से. People who have been following me, I've been very candid with all of you that अच्छे strong stocks में डालो पैसा, 10% 15% का मूवमेंट मिलेगा, छोटा स्टॉप लॉस में अच्छा पैसा बनेगा. लास्ट 1 month 1.5 month में अच्छा पैसा बना है because there has been lot of momentum. If we talk about commodities, definitely we look at crude oil because crude oil is the mother of all commodities. So it is also trading around 200-day moving average. You're talking about US crude oil. और अगर हम Brent की बात करें, so Brent is trading just above 200-day moving average. But commodities के अंदर में जो crude oil का घनघोर तेजी था, somewhere this has got slightly tapered down. And commodities definitely have a negative relationship with the dollar. So long term में वो relationship भी play करता है. Apart from crude oil, if you look at other commodities like zinc, copper, they corrected, but a bit of recovery has come into those crude oil commodities because crude oil has bit recovered. तो crude oil और commodities में बहुत strong relationship है. डॉलर और क्रूड ऑयल में कभी कभी रिलेशनशिप जो है वो डिस्टर्ब हो जाती है बिकॉज ऑफ सोशियो पॉलिटिकल प्रॉब्लम्स ग्लोबली. एंड इक्विटी मार्केट और डॉलर के अंदर में काफी स्ट्रॉन्ग रिलेशनशिप है which stays for long period of time. Whoever understands this multi-market analysis actually gets a better view of the market and can plan the trade accordingly. Anyways, Nifty 200 moving average के ऊपर पे I find no reason why I should be worried and going short into the market. This is a US 2-year yield curve. This is US 10-year yield curve. 10-year yield curve is considered as a benchmark. And this is one of the reasons why dollar index has gone up because yield curve in US has gone up. तो अभी क्या लग रहा है? अभी largely मुझे लगता है कि डॉलर इंडेक्स 108 109 इस तरफ रहेगा. Nifty will probably not crash. I am seeing a range of Nifty between 17,700 to 16,700. ये 1000 पॉइंट का निफ्टी का रेंज क्लियरली समझ में आ रहा है. So how do you trade in this kind of a market? Do you trade Nifty Bank Nifty? See, Nifty Bank Nifty trading is done in a very different manner. I'll show you the method which I use to trade these indices. So let me just show you a one of my layout which I use, which is 15 minutes chart. So this is Nifty, Bank Nifty, mid cap and small cap index, 15 minutes chart. And the model here is very simple. There, when all of them gives me a buy signal, I'm on the long side of the market. Whenever all of them is giving me a sell signal, I'm on the sell side of the market. And when I'm on the long side of the market, that means I'm buying Nifty. My stop loss is typically one candle low, one candle before the candle which I've entered, uska low is my stop loss. Similarly, when all my indicators are giving me sell signal, I will sell in the candle and my stop loss will be one candle before my sell candle, uska high will be my stop loss. This 15 minutes chart gives me active entry and exit in the index, and which also helps me to remain active in the market if at all you are interested in that kind of a strategy. If you are suppose interested in more mid-term strategy, like for a period of 5 to 6 days, you can convert this 15 minutes chart into 30 minutes chart, and you will get opportunities to ride the trend in the 30-minute chart. My precondition is that all the indices should give me a buy signal, then only I'll buy. My stop loss will remain candle low of previous candle, and when all the candles are giving me, when all the indicators are giving me sell signal, then super trends are giving me sell signal, then I will sell. My stop loss will be one candle before the high of that candle. If I am interested in index trading, you can follow this template. This template works quite well in the market. I have seen an accuracy of around 60-65% in this. Because the risk reward ratio is at least 1:2, there is good money, decent money to be made in this. You can use this for options trading if you know how to use options delta to trade in options. The best strategy to do in options is whenever all are green, you can sell put option of Nifty, and whenever all are red, you can sell call option of Nifty, but with a very very strict stop loss. Because if you are trading in futures, you have to have a very strong stop loss. Is this layout available for import? Well, this is a very simple layout. What I've done is I've plotted this 4 screen chart here, and I've plotted all the indices and just added moving average 21, 55, and super trend. And all these indicators are default indicators. So not that I've done something different. So I would suggest that this template can be made by you. It's not such a it's not such a complicated template that you can't make it. Okay, now, okay, I will take 1 or 2 questions regarding this. So there's a question by Praveen that in 30-minute Bank Nifty is sell, the rest all 3 minutes are buy. How should I read it? Well, you will not do anything. I will, in this model, I will always wait for all 4 to come into the sell mode. Okay, uh, that's how I will do it. I mean, it's up to you what you want to make your model, but what I'm saying that overall जब market के अंदर में breadth strong होता है और breadth में सब कुछ आ जाता है, निफ्टी, बैंक निफ्टी, स्मॉल कैप, मिड कैप, तभी बड़ा ट्रेड आएगा, तभी बड़ा पैसा वाला ट्रेड बनेगा. अगर मार्केट में मिक्स व्यू है कि निफ्टी saying something else, bank nifty saying something else, small cap is saying something else, if there is a mixed view in the market, typically those trades are not high probability trade. Whenever I'm trading in the market, I want a high probability trade. I don't want to trade when the probability of success is low. Talking about the market breadth, so there is a market breadth indicator in StockEdge called market breadth. I'm sure you guys must be following it religiously. So in the market breadth indicator, you see what has happened. Market made a top when the breadth was abnormally high. Okay, so this is a great contrarian sentiment indicator. So market right now breadth अभी भी थोड़ा सा market का breadth on the high side है, but it's not overbought zone, but definitely it's there in the green zone, which is a greed zone. तो अभी भी मार्केट में स्कोप है कि मार्केट में हल्का सा करेक्शन आ सकता है. Similarly, Nifty 500, if you see the breadth, yes, the breadth was high and is still high. So a bit of correction in both the indices, as indicated by both the indices, is possible. But will it lead to a massive fall? Again, it is dependent on dollar index. कि वो massive fall होने के लिए dollar index has to go very aggressively above 108 and stay there for some time. And the origination of any problem in dollar index is the yield curve. So mother of all financial asset to track is the yield curve, then dollar index, then commodities, and finally equity as an asset class. This is how the flow of money works in the global markets. Now, how do you analyze the stock? How do you identify the stock? Again, I've been telling this every Friday to all of you and people who are not attending or who are attending for the first time. This is the combination scan which I think works really well in the market, because only those companies who will show good fundamental performance in last few quarters, they will do very good. And this FIPA scan, which is saying stocks which are 52-week high, stocks which are outperforming the market, return on equity improving, return on capital employed improving, quarterly net profit growth happening, high quarterly sales happening. These are the companies, these are the scans which will give you stock ideas where there is a higher propensity of high momentum. So if you look at these stock ideas, the FIPA stock ideas, which I call it, if you look at their movements, typically all these stocks will have high momentum, and there is a possibility that you will get 10 to 12% at least return in these stocks because of high momentum. But obviously you have to look at the moment, you have to look at the risk reward also. Because a stock which has already gone up, there is a chance that the stock can retrace. So the best time to buy that stock is at a near the demand zone. All these concepts I've already explained in my session number 31 of Learn to Trade. I'm sure some of you who has been following me or who have been seeing my post in StockEdge Club would definitely understand what I'm trying to explain. If you are not understanding, not to worry. So, learn to trade session number 31 will make you understand, and StockEdge Social, all my posts are around that, and it will also make you understand. All right, guys, thank you so much. Keep following us, keep learning from us and from the market. And I hope you will emerge as winner in this market. So now I would like to transfer this discussion to Souradeep and ask him to take it over from me.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the opportunity and thank you for the wonderful presentation. So, is my screen visible to all of you? Please tell me.
Yes, yes, we can see it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. From here, I will take on. So, before going into everything, I will like to show you a few data points which are very important. Okay. The first of all is that the Forex Reserve of India now it has come to 564. Now this is one of the lowest level since November 2020. So from 642 billion USD, which was quite high, almost in November last year, we have fallen almost 80 billion dollars in terms of our forex reserve. So this is quite a worrisome trend because from 642, which was around October, November last year, we have been falling, and because of this high crude oil prices and everything, if you can see that this forex reserve have been falling uh, for quite some time, from March, from February, from December. This was the peak around November 642. From here, we have fallen to 564 billion USD, which is quite a worrisome thing. Okay, from the macro perspective. But on the other hand, the good news this is that this price index, US Fed follows very religiously. US Fed follows this for the inflation. This is a proxy of inflation. And in the month of July, as we had seen that the CPI inflation had fallen, but this is also a proxy of inflation. So this is a very important data, and we can see that month on month this has fallen. Last time there was 1% jump month on month in this inflation from May to June, but sorry, from June to June, yeah, May to June. Now from June to July, we have fallen 0.1%. And year on year figure also, you can see that we are down right now to 6.3% from 6.8%. So the US interest rates are actually cooling down, and possibly the Fed rate, the pace of Fed rate hikes may slow down. Obviously, still we are facing a kind of a situation that will result into a recession. US is already into a technical recession in terms that two quarters of negative growth we have seen. But the Fed has to raise interest rate, but uh, there will be a kind of recession scenario the whole year of this year. But the jobs are not bad, and that's why US market is not actually falling down. Now, if I look at the Dow Jones chart here, this is the Dow Jones chart, and I can see that as I was expecting that Dow Jones to take a support either near 32,800 or 32,100 in either of this level. So it took support at 32,800 level, and possibly again we may see 33,700, 800. And if I go to the relative chart, relative strength chart of the global indices, so I can see that apart from the Brazil, and the this is the TA35, which is the Saudi American index. Apart, sorry, apart from, I have a little bit of cough. So apart from these two indices, we have been basically one of the better performing indices since the June-July period. So we can see since the time we have been rising recently from the recent low, we have been one of the Bank Nifty has been one of the best performing, as we can see literally, along with Nasdaq, and US 100 is Nasdaq. So uh, we can see we are among the best performing indices, and since the month of June, and this outperformance may continue in spite of, see, this is a worrisome thing, definitely a worrisome thing, but in pre-election years like 2022 end and 2023, we will see that some amount of FII money going out of the country. That happens in every pre-election year. So this may dip till 500 also. I don't think uh, market will be too much panic even if it is still 500, because the commodity prices are high. So this outperformance of India may continue for quite some time. Now, if I look at a quick look at the global commodity prices, I will see that crude oil prices are probably trying to find a bottom. See, this was the earlier top, 85, 86. Here it is trying to bottom out, and we may see a little bit of rally in the crude oil. I can see aluminium futures also. If I look at aluminium futures also bottoming out at previous swing low, though we are at much higher level than what aluminium used to be, but still this is trying to form a low and go up. Now this will decide the trajectory of inflation. If I look at the copper, it has already bottomed out, and you can see from 3.24 to 3.76, so it is up quite a bit. It can go to 4.2. So all the commodities, zinc also, we can see that quite a rise in the zinc prices happening. Now if I go to the agri commodities for a moment, wheat has come back to the level from where it shot off, uh, because Russia is allowing the wheat to be passed from Ukrainian ports, but corn, everything from the bottom sale of 580 from 570 to 6612, almost 20% jump. In the case of cotton also, we can see almost a 20%, almost a 20-25% jump from the pullback point. So most and rice also is rising, you can see. So the commodity price fall that happened in the month of July is no more there, and commodities are rising again. So we may face a headwind uh, in terms of inflation. So so if I come back to the Nifty chart in that context, if I look at the Nifty chart, see, Nifty this level, as Vivek has said, 17,700 is very, very crucial. I think market will get a resistance here, and possibly there is a possibility if 17,700 market remains below that, market can correct. But if market goes above 17,700, then we may look for a new high. Market can do anything. I am not presuming anything. I am just saying that near 17,700 is ideal point to go possibly short for a target of maybe 16,980, which is a 200-day SMA, and above 17,700 one should play long in the Nifty. In case of Bank Nifty, I will show you, just a second. Yeah, so this is the Bank Nifty. Bank Nifty looks very bullish to me. As long as Bank Nifty possibly above 37,700, 600 level. As I said, I see a possibility of market moving towards 45,000. Only if Bank Nifty trades below this 37,000, there will be a chance of pullback. But most signs are there that Bank Nifty wants to go up. So as you can see, out of the Indian indices also, if I show you, see CNX from the bottom of June, if you see that the best performing index from the bottom is CNX metals, but after that it comes the CNX uh, PSU banks, private banks. Okay, so banking is doing great, and the worst performing are the pharma and IT, which were the leaders in the previous rally. So pharma and IT continue to languish. If I show you the stock charts, see Infi is doing really badly. Infosys. So Infosys has cut the bonus level of its employees. Infosys, in general, among the IT companies, is a company which faces a lot of attrition issue. So the attrition issue may prop up again in Infosys because they have cut the variable pay. The stock is falling. Possibly it can get support around 1500, but the stock is a weak stock. Okay. Same goes for TCS and other companies. They are falling, and TCS can this time fall because TCS is falling from this level of the resistance. It can fall towards 28, 2700. This is right now the uh, motion of the chart. Okay, now I will show you about the stock. I don't have anything specific to give because if you are looking at this stock is social. Okay, just a second. You can see that regularly we are putting so many stock ideas as and when they are coming. So here Raja has given Westlife as a company. I today have given 3-4 stocks. One of them is the lovable lingerie stock. As you can see, the lovable lingerie stock, once it stays above 175, 176, it can go to 286, 237. Okay, again coming back to the stock ideas. Uh, this is Power India or Hitachi. As I said, told that this three above 3675, the Power India can go to 4500. So this is one another stock that is important. Okay, coming back, this is in the Ingersoll Rand. I don't know how to pronounce it, but this is also a potentially strong stock going up, can go to 2300. Uh, in Ingersoll Rand. This is the stock. Now, apart from that, this I have not put in the club because one other guy has already put it there. But this also came to me. I will show you. Uh, this stock, Apcotex India. Okay, Apcotex India also above 640 can go to 765, 767 kind of a level. So if you are following us on the stock ideas club, a lot of great stock ideas are generally getting shared, and all of most of the Ajanta Pharma is another stock that I have shared with the team, that it can go to 1634 if it stays above 1350. Now, apart from that, nowadays companies are giving very good breakouts and achieving targets also. Time Techno Plus can, as you can see, I have shown here, have as it stays above 117, it can go to 143, 44. Okay, so great many ideas we have been already sharing here. So in terms of stock idea, there is nothing much to actually share. Like Bandhan Bank, I shared when it was broken out that if it stays above 297, 298, it can go to 330. So a lot many stock ideas we have been sharing, and if you see, our long-term stock ideas have reaching our target also. Like you can see at 277, I said about the high call reaching 332. It has gone to 335, 337, and possibly next target will be 387, which is the 200 DMA. Also, you can see Dr. Lal Path Lab I have given on 30th July when the price was 2300, and I had discussed that it would go to 2700 and or 2820 at that point of time. See, this is the 2836, 2700, 2690 it achieved today. So that is what I am trying to say, that the market is very good, and it is giving us such good opportunities, that stocks which were discussed quite some time. Another stock is Astra Microwave. Okay, see ABB. I gave this level when it was at 2470, 2517. I said it will reach 3050. It has reached 3050, and even still strong, it is going up. Okay, another stock is Astra Microwave. This I gave last week, and this week it has reached 375, 376. I just gave last week when it broke out, it was 300, and I said it would go to 400. So many stocks, because the market is good, it is not only about us, it is that the market is good. Stocks are right now moving, especially mid and small cap stocks are moving very nice way. Another stock is which I did not give, I missed actually, but uh, you can look it for the continued momentum. It has shown absolute momentum. So if Vinyl India crosses 520, 525, it can continue to move on the upside. Now, talking I would like to show a little bit more about, and as I discussed, see the Dow Jones future is moving up. When we were this started the discussion, it was minus 30, minus 40. Now it is plus 100. So possibly Monday we are going to see a gap up opening. Monday, although, is going to be a truncated week because on 31st we have Ganesh Chaturthi, but there is a good possibility that we may see a gap up or gap up opening on Monday. Okay, this is it, and I would like to discuss about the crude oil chart a little bit in detail. This is the thing that I am going to cover in our Bangkok session. So many of you have attended. So this is the crude oil chart. You can very easily see that 85 to 87 is acting as a very good support. Price still moving in this channel. Price went to 200 DMA 95, and then falling, may fall right now to 85, 86, and after that, once it reaches above this 96, 97, we may see a considerable rally into this, because if you see that earlier 84, 85, this was the earlier top. Now this is acting as a support level. Now if oil remains in this range, then it is not a worry for India. But once it goes above 96, 97 in WTI, and accordingly Brent goes above 102, 103, and 100 towards 110, then it will be quite a difficult scenario for India, because as we can see that this forex reserves is already coming down, and that is why today there is a very important thing, that is the Jackson Hole meet, that is symposium, that is planned within next 30 minutes. So whatever the Fed Powell says here in the Jackson Hole symposium, that will, and you can see a lot of FOMC members speak within some time. So Fed Powell speaks in 53 minutes. So this will be a market moving thing in the market, and possibly the way the charts are poised, I personally feel that Dow is going higher, and possibly today itself it will hit. If they are not very hawkish, today itself we can have a 300-400 plus point rally in this. And regarding the US government bond, Vivek sir has already described, so I don't have a lot of things to speak about. But I right now am following this one very religiously. That is US 2-year bond deal, and it is 3.37. So it is showing that there is good scope of rate high, because I showed you that the commodities are also going up. So whatever the market does, market is different thing, but there is scope of rally in this. Once this 3.4 3.5 is crossed, it can go to towards 3.6 3.7, especially after the Jackson hole, or possibly near though we can see quite a bearish divergence here, but this is a very important parameter, and this can go to 4%. In that case, there will be market fall. So because market rallied so much, and market is rallying so much in spite of so much macro headwinds, I would consider it that market actually wants to put this recession fear behind. Because what is the pain point in the recession? There are a lot of job loss. Presently, US is seeing a robust job growth. Last month, the unemployment in US was 3.4%. So the Fed can continue tightening without creating a havoc in the job market. In that case, market won't fall a lot, and that is why. And one more thing I am want to tell you is that if you look at Nifty chart, I will show you a very important thing in the Nifty chart. Okay, I am going to the monthly chart. I am hiding all the indicators that are there. I am hiding everything. Okay, sorry, I want to hide everything. I want to hide everything, even the volume also I want to hide, and I want to look at the naked chart. Okay, now I will show you a very interesting thing. Before US, before the 2019 election, you can see that there was a fall in the market. Okay, there was a fall in the market, goodish bit of fall. Sorry, this is not, this is crude oil. I want to show you the Nifty chart. Okay, so before 2019 election, you can see that from 11,800 market had fallen to 10,000 level. So almost 18% correction market had given before the election. Now, before 2014 election, which was almost done deal that Modi will win, still from 6,079 to 5,000 level, almost 5,100. So again 17-18% fall before the 2014 election. Now, before 2009 election, you can see from and this was along with a global uh, fall, but you can see that the fall happened. Okay, this was the global recession. Before 2004 election, you can see that time Nifty was 2000, from 2000 to 1200. So almost what I would say, a 30% fall that time took place. Now go back to 1999. Before the election, from 1200 level, I'm going to the auto mode. 1999, you can see from uh, the correction started from the level of 1200 to 84. Again 30% correction. So you can understand that before every election for last 25 years, and I can show you the 1994 election also to add. See, before the 1994 election, there was again a market fall. So what does it tell you? that before every election, market falls quite 20-30%. So gives you an opportunity. So I personally think that if that opportunity comes, and possibly the next one, the next election is going to be uh, almost a straightforward election like 2014 was. Uh, 2019 was not straightforward, though India did quite well, but like 2014 was quite straightforward. This election is also looking quite straightforward, so possibly there will be uh, a stable government in that case. So I think if such a fall comes, one should buy the market. It is not fixed. Sometimes correction comes 12 months before, sometimes correction comes 8-9 months before. But just 1 year before election, in for last 30 years, I have shown you that there is a correction from 15 to 30% in the index that happens in the Nifty. So keep this in mind. So as the market is moving, it is always good for investors to uh, uh, in, investor to book some amount of profit, because every time market gives an opportunity uh, in the pre-election year. So if you have a portfolio, try to book a profit and try to actually then capitalize on the fall if that happens. So thank you. I would like to hand it over to Abhijit right now. He's a wonderful technical analyst and speaker. So hi Abhijit. Avnish, can you give it to Abhijit? Thank you.
Yes, hi. Good evening.
Good evening. All yours. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I hope that the last 2 days of volatility did not bother you too much, though I think that for short-term traders, the markets were pretty volatile. Also, we did manage to experience that in today's trading session. So quickly, let's take a look at the market from a slightly longer perspective, larger perspective, and then we will drill down to smaller time frames so that those who are short-term traders in nature, they can kind of strategize themselves well. So let's take a look at the weekly charts first. I'm looking at the bar chart. I am essentially I play with elements. I give a lot of value importance to trend, to momentum, to volatility, and of course, I'm taking a look at the 5-day average and the 20-day average, or 5 and 20 period average to be precise. So what do we see? We all know, and if you have some experience in the market, you know that markets go through cycles of trending phase and non-trending phase, then trending phase, and again non-trending phase and trending phase. So there is an inbuilt, ingrained opportunity giving nature in the market, that this is the opportunity when I trend, and this is not such a good opportunity. This is where I will test out your patience. This is where I will want you to take care of your capital and do not lose whatever you gained in the previous trend. This is where I will check your discipline. This is where you have to have control on your greed, etc., etc. Because I don't know about you, but I have faced this, that whenever the market trends, it's relatively much more easier to make money, and it is equally easier to lose all that money, if not more, when the market stops to trend. But my idea of sharing this with you is that markets go through phases of trends and no trends. There are various terms: consolidations, congestions, trending market, trading market. So you get the picture. So what did we have recently? We had a pretty impressive bounce back, didn't we? If we take a look at all the bounce backs that we have had over this entire period, by the way, the market topped out in mid-October last year. And from mid-October last year's, from a high to low basis, you would see that the correction was around 18.5% over a period of 34 weeks. 34 weeks. And if my memory serves me correct, then in one of these weekly market discussions, I had kind of shared with you that market probably has not corrected so much in terms of price, but in terms of time, it seems to be fairly matured. And from here on to, let's say, another quarter, one should start to look to add to their portfolio. Now, I did not see such a one-way parabolic run-up. Of course, market always has this nature to surprise us. Whatever we think, it tends to deliver something else or the same thing in a slightly different manner. But now let's take a look at the corrections, or rather, I would say, let's take a look at the bounce backs. These are corrective moves in a downtrend. This one was around 11.5%. This one would be pretty good because the high and the low is pretty well stretched, around 16%. Let's not consider this, and let's consider this one, recent one, which is around 18.5%. The reason, if you ask me that why didn't I consider this, what was the reason that I did not consider this? Because if you take a look at my trend indicators, that is this these moving averages, then you will notice that this rally led to a trend reversal, this rally led to a trend reversal, and the current rally has led to a trend reversal. On the other hand, this one did not lead to a trend reversal. So I'm not considering this as a meaningful, meaty bounce back which will reverse the trend. So what are we looking at then? We're looking at 11.5%, 16%, 18.5%. So which is fairly in line with what the market has delivered recently. Not to mention the fact that this is a typical wide zone. 18K is a round number, it's a psychological number. And so the markets have to deal with this zone. And that's the resistance for the market. But the funny thing, or it's not exactly funny, the good thing and the subsequent not so good thing is it reached from 16,250, the rally from 16,250 kind of levels all the way to 18K was one way. It was not like I went up a little bit, then I gave a 2-3 weeks of correction, then I went. It's not that it took time. It was as if it was in a hurry, as if it is still in a hurry. What does this mean is you've reached quite a distance in a hurry, so you're very likely to get tired at resistances. And when you get tired at resistances, you take a breather. So you will consolidate before you give us the big breakout. Okay, so what we have seen today, this week, we're looking at the weekly chart. So what we have experienced this week is the index deciding to consolidate after a one-way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks of consecutive gains. In fact, if you add the last 4 weeks before that, then in 9 weeks, it has gained 8 weeks out of 9. Now, I've seen this, it happens, it's a very natural phenomenon that people tend to get complacent. That the going is so good, they keep on expecting good times. They're not willing to actually experience a bit of volatility. And that's exactly what we faced. So let's close the weekly view and let's go to the daily. So the weekly charts are clearly suggesting us index needs to deal with these resistances. And so a move above 18K will be a pretty good, strong move, which will clearly confirm that we are heading for higher upside. Weekly charts have moved into a structural uptrend after a long time, and we should always have the maximum faith on the underlying trend, and we can expect that the markets not to do anything fancy on the downside and keep a bullish bias. So the view from the weekly chart, I use the weekly for the sake of long term. So from the long term perspective, charts have moved into the bullish territory. Okay, fine. Now, when can this chart or this bullish chart go negative? Can kind of reverse us? The levels are quite far off on the downside, so let's not get into those levels. It's around 16,750, 16,700 kind of levels. Now let's take a look at the daily chart. Now with the daily time frame, what we can notice, there you go. What we can notice last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is we've had a mixed bag kind of situation. The short-term trend is now a little vulnerable. In fact, short-term trend has just turned down. The next time frame is supporting the market pretty well, and the index has kind of consolidated. volumes have been fairly okay, not a problem. We can see some very interesting fact that the last leg of the market actually came with pretty disappointing declining volumes over here, and the volumes have kind of picked up when it came down. So it seems like the volumes are kind of tending towards more on the downtrending side of the market. But so far so good. There's nothing to worry right now. The only question that I have back of my mind is, am I going to see an A, B, C kind of a correction, or is the market going to kind of stabilize and pick up towards 18K? Before looking into technicals, charts in a closer manner, closer look, I would always say that have faith in the trend. The trend is such a strong thing that it keeps supporting the prices. So I would say, because the underlying trend is not threatened yet, these moving averages are not threatened yet, a possibility of 18K is higher than, let's say, a possibility of 17K. That's without taking a closer look at price. Okay. Daily charts are still in a decent uptrend, and one should maintain a bullish bias. The problem, now I'll come to the problem. The problem that is there, that you will face even next week, you must have faced it this week, and I'm sure you'll face it next week, is recently we had a good run. We had quite a steady run where we bought and we got what I call as, we found follow through buying or selling, or follow through trend. Means the market gives you a breakout bar, and after that the breakout bar continued on the upside. This has gone out, this has gone missing. Volatility has spiked up, and so short-term traders will face the heat. So daily charts are still bullish. Levels wise, there's not much, because 18K is very obvious that we can see over here. And if we draw some kind of an anchored VWAP with the fractal lows, you will find this as a fractal low, which is more or less where the index is managing to find some support on a closing basis. You can see very clearly. If I turn it into a line chart, you can see. So that's the immediate but obvious level. The next fractal low is somewhere here, which is also pretty good, which is around 17,373 kind of. Now, these are not supports, by the way. Do not misunderstand the charts or me, that if I'm drawing some, if I'm plotting some anchored VWAPs, means these are supports. No, these are not necessarily supports. They can provide support to the market if prices comes down to that level. And anchored VWAP tends to do a good job for the index, especially with the Nifty, Bank Nifty. I think they do a pretty good job. So all these anchored VWAPs, as I have dropped them, gives you a sense of an idea of where levels are coming down to, and where we can find some bit of support from the market. And if you add a volume profile to that, it actually brings in more clarity. Because number one, I can see this volume bar, which is over here, which is exactly where the markets have found support, 17,400. Let's check this. So 17,400 is your support from the daily charts. 18K is your resistance. What if 17,400 is compromised? Will 17K hold? Now, 17K does not give me much of a volume here, because there was a gap up. See this? There was a gap up. That's the reason there's nothing here. So apart from 17K being a round number, I don't have any technical rational reason to have some expectation from 17K. Abhi 17K ke niche na baat kare to hi better hai, but still, as you know, as prices move on up and down and all that, these lines will also go up and kind of behave like this. But the next level that comes in mind, that comes to my charts, is somewhere here. Now, these are 1,000 points away from it. Neither do I want to tell myself or create a view, bazaar 1,000 point niche jayega. Neither I want to create a view like this or scare anyone. We are just preparing ourselves, hope for the best and prepare for the worst. That's always my motto. So I'm hoping that it will go up an 18K, etc., etc. I'm hoping that there will be opportunities to trade, but I'm also preparing myself on the downside, because of course, I can make an assumption that you, being a part of such a community, of course, you're far aware than a novice trader. You know that the market has a very, very uncanny habit of surprising us. So I'll prepare myself. So we discussed some levels on the downside. Not a problem. The good thing is the upside, after a little bit of rally, the upside opens up. The the 18K breakout will very soon take the market to an all-time high, and uske baad there's no way to draw any kind of resistances. That's the beauty of a chart which is in an all-time high. So bullish, but trading has gone a little difficult. और एक time frame मैं आपको नीचे लेके जाऊंगा. In fact, I'll take you down to the 15-minute time frame just to give you a perspective of what's happening over the last 2 days. Now, if you just give me a couple of minutes so that these lines, क्या होता है when we drop this anchored VWAP, if they are plotted on different time frames, वो chart को skew कर देता है, you know, वो anchored VWAP, it wants to show the level, और वो level दिखाने के लिए वो y axis को skew कर देता है, ढंग से दिखेगा. Okay, now what I found interesting over the last two, especially today and yesterday, was a high volume sell-off bar in both the days without follow-through selling, and a surprise sell-off yesterday, distinctly high volumes, and not exactly selling, but a surprise element again today towards the close with again decent high volumes. So what you have is 2 days back to back with enough volatility and breakout failures. Breakout failure, surprise move on the downside. Gap up opening, no follow through movement on the upside. Corrects, bounce back, this is like an ABC kind of a correction. Then all of a sudden a jerky move on the downside just to bounce back. In fact, Bank Nifty ka volatility to isse bhi zyada tha towards the close today. Let's get used to this. Let's get used to this. If you're a trader, who's using who uses the 5-minute, 10, 15 minutes kind of charts, agar aap intraday short-term trading karte, especially index mein, I would suggest not to go to stocks, but index mein you can do that. But tell yourself that the underlying volatility is 100% going to be on the higher side. Number one, there is lack of follow-through buying as well as follow-through selling. So you need to be very, very careful and cautious. I would suggest आपके quantities जो आप trade कर रहे हो, you can take them a little down so that loss होता तो कम होना चाहिए. Whatever we have earned here, we don't want to give away unnecessarily. Now, what's the bias? Now, if we look at multi-asset classes, if we look for, let's say, triggers from the global markets, okay, as we discussed right now, yesterday the Nasdaq, the S&P 500 did a pretty good job by bouncing back, and I think Souradeep did share with us that the Dow Jones futures was trading 100 points up when he was discussing the markets with you. European markets are kind of flat, nothing here, 92, 93 on the crude. I think crude has kind of bottomed out in the short term, and wo koshish karega. I think it will make an attempt to move towards 96, 97. SGX right now is at 17,700, around 45 points up. So what happens today evening in the US markets with the Jackson Hole and how it will make an impact will be primarily an impact for the opening next week. But uske baad, I think the market needs to settle down and give us some opportunity. Levels pe baat kar lete. See, you will find this interesting because I find it really, really interesting. I call this kind of bars decoy bars. ये जो red bar है ना, I personally call it a decoy bar. ध्यान से देखिएगा, you know, a higher high and a higher low with a negative bar. When a stock goes from its previous level, it goes higher, high, it goes higher on the low. It generally gives you a positive bullish feeling. But जब वो नीचे की तरफ क्लोज देता है, but ऊपर से स्लिप होके नीचे की तरफ क्लोज देता है, it gives you, अरे ये तो selling आ गया, this is a negative, it gives you a negative vibe, right, towards the close. जैसे yesterday's close would have given you a clear-cut negative vibe, and this is where, you know, negative candlestick patterns like shooting star and all those kind of things tend to form. मजेदार चीज ये है that उसी बार का जो हाई होता है, the high of that particular bar plays a very important role as a short-term resistance. And the market, if it takes it out and close above it, वो पीछे मुड़ के नहीं देखता. It should not look back. वो भगा देता है. Which, apparently did not happen. It would have been a very good close above yesterday's high, but it did not happen. It closed more like a doji or a complete small spinning top kind of a bar, nothing to do. So level ke liye, from the perspective of level, your yesterday's low 17501 and day before yesterday's low 17495 आपको clearly चिल्ला चिल्ला के बता रहा है कि ये मेरा support है 17500. Of course 17500 will see some bit of writings also. We can take a look at it later, but 17500 is your immediate short term levels. Now I'm talking short term. Medium to long term हम लोग ने discuss कर लिया. Whatever little time I've left, I'll quickly discuss the short term levels. So 17500 is something that will open up for the downside. My short term moving averages will open up on the downside if that breakdown comes. How will that breakdown look on the 75-minute time frame? The breakdown on the 75-minute time frame will look a breakdown below this. Acha, this is a 75-minute time frame, one time frame below the daily. If you look at the lowest point and drop a fractal, from the fractal low, an anchored VWAP, आपको देखा कहाँ कल का support कहाँ मिला था? So that's exactly where it found support, and this is around 17548. And another fractal low is at yesterday's low. This is also a fractal low. Oh, I think it will give us a slightly higher number, which is very close to today's low. So ये जो zone बन रहा है ना, this zone, this particular zone, this zone and down here, this is where the index will try to hit some supports and break it if that happens on the downside. मैं पहले negative side को draw कर लेता हूँ from a short-term perspective. So let me give you a clearer picture. You can see how my moving averages are behaving here. If the index comes down here, if the prices comes down somewhere here, all these moving averages will turn down, will slope down and turn down and crisscross. ऐसा एक माहौल create करेगा, ऐसा, which means that नीचे का follow through sell off का probability बढ़ जाए. That is where I will look to sell. That is when I will go bearish and look to sell. यहाँ पे I'm not going to go bearish. यहाँ पे all my moving averages are holding fine. चलिए resistance निकाल लेते. Resistance of course आज का high मान के चल सकते, but फिर भी let's do a little bit of better intelligent analysis than using previous high and previous low as supports and resistances. वो बहुत naive हो जाएगा अगर मैं expect करता हूँ कि हर एक high और हर एक low पे support मिलेगा, resistance मिलेगा. It's very foolish to expect. Can you see this interesting fact about if I have drawn an anchored VWAP from the previous fractal high? This is where the fractal high, the anchored VWAP was spending time, 17700, ke thoda sa upar, 17700, 17750. I share market views with everyone every day, end of the day in my YouTube channel. अगर आप follow करते हो मुझे मेरे YouTube channel पे, you know 17700 or 17800 का एक band मैंने बताया था as resistance. If we turn this into a closing price, that is a line chart, आप notice करेंगे it's more or less without this, इसको अगर एक exception माने, more or less prices have respected this level pretty well. इसका मतलब that from a very short-term perspective, intraday from a Monday to Tuesday perspective, 17,740 kind of levels, this high, this. इसको अगर निकाल देता है और उसके ऊपर close देता है, जो कि उसने close नहीं दे पाया. It had gone and slipped down. So we need a close. And then that is what you're it's going to tell me, चल यहाँ पे अब bullish होना चालू हो जा, इसके नीचे चल bearish होना चालू हो जा. This is a view, this is a technical based view that you create, that the trend establishes itself, and I expect the trend will continue. The trend establishes itself on the downside, and I expect it will continue. This is how anyone should trade. The flip side to this is, जो कि last 2 दिन में अपने को देखने को मिला, that it will establish itself, then come down. It will establish itself and go up. This is volatility, this is choppiness, this is noise. अब इससे जूझना पड़ेगा. There is nothing we can do about it. But as of now, if this is the first wave, this is more like a complex correction on the upside, then a healthy looking chart will be if it opens on the downside. I don't want to create castles on the clouds. I don't want to create views like this, kaise ho to acha hai. But yes, market can break out and it can find itself back to 18K. So with the levels, I think this is how you should prepare yourself. I purposely wanted to spend maximum time on the Nifty here because most of the sectors are doing fairly okay. I'll quickly talk a bit about the sectors and then I'll sign off. IT is one of the biggest losers this year so far, till 25% down still, and it has kind of failed to hang on to. चलिए इसको daily पे ना देखे weekly पे देखे. So it is yet to do quite a bit. अभी तक, it has not come out of its shadows. Couple of things I would like to say. एक एक करके ना दिखा के. Public sector enterprises. Now this sector is completely stuck in a range, and now it has again moved into an uptrend. This will be interesting to see. We saw how PSU banks and how PSU stocks performed really well, and in fact, in yesterday's YouTube channel also I mentioned this. अगर आप follow करते हो मुझे, you can follow all my end of the day views there. You can just type in my name Abhijit Paul in YouTube and आपको मिल जाना चाहिए. You should get it, not a problem. It's a simple YouTube channel. I would like to bring your attention to the public sector enterprises and real estate. Why real estate? Because I would like to keep a closer look that will this sustain or not? Because real estate has gone through a pretty decent correction. And after a long time, I have a trend reversal on my shorter and medium term, shorter or longer combination of moving averages. So real estate can be one sector which can give me some further headroom. IT pharma continues to stay weak, so I'm not very interested there. Energy thoda ruk sakta hai. This is CNX Energy. This is where your Reliance, ONGC, oil marketing companies, Coal India, this all comes here. It had a pretty big run up. So yahan you cannot expect further headroom next week. Though the long-term charts are very, very good, one should use short-term corrections to buy. So I think we will continue to get opportunities on the upside. I did not go to small cap and mid caps, but I wanted to spend maximum time with Nifty. So I think level-wise and view-wise, long-term view is still intact. We have had a great run, and we should expect, thoda realistic hona chahiye, we can expect the market to slow down. In fact, अगर ये 18K के ठीक नीचे consolidate करता है, if it consolidates, and this breakout that comes, it will be a very nice, healthy breakout for the overall markets. So weekly charts should take a breather. Daily charts has gone through one leg of fall, a consolidation. Now the million-dollar question, which we will get clarity maybe within the next 2 weeks. Next week, 4 दिन का I think trading है, 31st is a holiday. Whether it will open up on the downside. Levels we have discussed very clearly. Whatever be it, नीचे खुले या ऊपर की तरफ breakout दे, what as a trader I would love to see is the market giving a follow-through move. The moment it fails to give those follow-through moves, we get stopped out, and that's the price we pay. So I'm keeping a very unbiased approach towards the market. Intraday volumes देख के तो ऐसा लग रहा है कि it might open up on the downside, but who knows? कुछ भी हो सकता है. Global markets right now, before I sign off, I see it's a mixed view. In fact, it's flat. S&P 500 is flat. I think because of the Jackson Hole, they would like to hear them out first. SGX is just 34 points positive. Let's see kya hota hai. If it gives a positive breakout or surprises us with a downside move, all that a trader, or the way I trade, would want is follow through movement, so that we can make some returns in that leg down or leg up, right? Okay, thank you for hearing me out. I hope this was useful. You can mark the levels, you can put some alerts, and let's see what's in store for all of us next week, right? You can get in touch with me if you have any specific doubts. Our coordinators, Agnish, can definitely help you in reaching out to me, or you can directly reach out to me via my YouTube channel. Till then, take care of yourselves and enjoy the weekend. Thank you, everyone. God bless.